A very good evening to each and every one of you joining us here. Lovely to connect with you. I wish we could do this in person. However, considering the times that we are living in, I hope you are well, healthy. I'd once again like to thank each and every one of you for joining us here on this very special, magical moment that we have set up for you. Lovely to connect with each and every one of you. The weather is beautiful here in Bangalore, at least. Namaskara, a very good evening. Welcome in to our German friends who are joining us as well. My name is Sriram Sulya. Let me tell you, I'm the number one Google result when you Google for Sriram Sulya. I host a Joke for a Radio show. I'm a broadcaster, I'm an MC, and it gives me great pleasure to be your host for this wonderful event that we have set up for you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of DKMS BMST Foundation India, I welcome you all. Make yourself comfortable. And of course, I'd like to remind you that we have our chat function anytime during the event. In case you have any questions, feel free to log them in our chat window, as I will be taking in your questions and we'll be having our respective panelists answering to each and every single query and question and concern of yours. Thank you once again for joining us on behalf of DKMS BMST Foundation India. Welcome one and all to this magical moment. Ahead of Blood Cancer Awareness Month, today we are here to not just raise awareness, but to also get in touch with our sensitive side. It is going to be a beautiful event, and I can't wait to bring on all the participants who are joining us on this very call. DKMS BMST Foundation India is on a very clear mission, and that is to give as many blood cancer and blood disorder patients a second chance at life. And that is something that we get to witness today as an example. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking your time out of your busy schedules and joining us. We are about to witness something beautiful today. There are plenty of statistics that do suggest that blood cancer and blood disorders like aplastic anemia needs to be given plenty of attention even during the times of pandemic, and that's the main reason why we are here today. So let's begin this evening with one of the best transplant physicians from the country who's joining us, none other than Dr. Sunil Bhatt. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the director and clinical lead, pediatric hematology, oncology, and blood and marrow transplantation from Narayana Health. Dr. Sunil, greetings of the day. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Sriram, for having me, and you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you once again. Lovely to see you. Doctor, let's talk about the importance of blood stem cell transplant for blood cancer and blood disorder patients, and the importance of ethnicity per se.
Yeah, so see, a bone marrow transplant, or what we also call the stem cell transplant, is a potential treatment for various diseases, and it's not only blood cancers, but I would say probably scores of diseases which can be cured with bone marrow transplant, ranging from cancers like leukemia, which is the blood cancer in the layman language, but also other cancerous conditions like lymphomas, myelodysplasias. At the same time, it is also a potential treatment for a lot of diseases which are non-cancers, but equally potentially harmful and potentially life-threatening, like immunodeficiency disorders, like hemoglobinopathies. Like in our country, we have a lot of thalassemia, major burden in our country. Sickle cell is a huge concern in African subcontinent, and also conditions like aplastic anemia, where the bone marrow fails to produce enough cells. So there are these diseases which are, which unfortunately do not have any other curative option but for a bone marrow transplant. But for a bone marrow transplant, as for any other transplant, we require a bone marrow stem cell donor for them to donate. And the chances of finding the donor in our families is about 25 to 30%. So that leaves around 70% of the patients who require a bone marrow transplant but do not have anyone to donate for them, right? And here comes the role of unrelated donors, unrelated donors stem cell transplantation, wherein you have someone in the world who has got the same HLA as the patient has got and can donate for them to save their life. And those are unrelated people. They're not related to the families, but just share that HLA typing which the patient has got. Now, the chances of this finding this HLA typing match donor, it's a very rare occurrence. For two people to match on HLA typing is not a very common phenomenon. It ranges from 1 to 20,000 to 1 in a million. So you may have to search 1 million people to find someone who has got the same HLA as the patient has got. So hence, if you have got a larger registry or a larger donor pool to look at, the chances of finding a donor will be higher. So what matters in unrelated donor transplants is the size of the registry or the size of the donor pool. That's number one. Number two, what matters is ethnicity. So it matters where are you looking for the donors in, what is the mix of the donors in the registry you're looking at. So, it's natural that an Indian will match an Indian, a German will match a German, a Chinese is going to match a Chinese, donor pool. And within India, for example, we have so many, small ethnic groups, a Bengali is different, Marathis are different ethnic background altogether, Punjabis are different. So if you have got that mix of ethnic pool, which represents all ethnic communities in your country, then the chances of finding a donor for a particular patient would be higher. Just to an example, when we look for a Caucasian for an unrelated donor, the chances that about 70 to 80% of the times you'll find a donor for them in one of the registries in the world, whether it's a, German registry, whether it's a, UK registry or it's an American registry. Caucasians have a very high chance of finding a donor because the number of donors who are on these registries from Caucasian background are quite high. Now, when we look for an Indian patient and look for a registry donor for them, the chances are around 10% because the number of Indians on the registries, which is India or abroad, and probably from the similar genetic background are relatively less in number. So hence, what we require is large donor pool. What we also require is the donor pool having the ethnic mix, which represents your country, which represents your ethnic backgrounds.
Right.
Thank you.
Doctor, we have one of your patients, Twarit, who, of course, I'll be bringing on and we'll be speaking to him in just a few. But can you describe his case and how blood stem cell donation helped him with a second chance at life?
Yeah, so Twarit is a lovely boy. He's listening to me. One of my favorite kids I have looked after. He was 9-year-old when I saw him first time. He was being looked after at a different hospital by one of my colleagues for a condition called aplastic anemia. Aplastic anemia is a condition wherein bone marrow doesn't make blood. Bone marrow is a factory where the blood is manufactured. In aplastic anemia, what happens is that the bone marrow doesn't make enough blood for sustenance of life. So all the three components, what we call as hemoglobin, platelets, and white cells, which are the three components of blood, are not manufactured in the bone marrow, and it's a life-threatening condition because if you don't have enough hemoglobin, you're going to get tired, your heart's going to get weak. If you do not have enough platelets, you're going to get bleeding manifestations, which can be spontaneous and life-threatening. And the more important thing is that you get low white cells, and these white cells help us fight infections. And unfortunately, most of these kids get repeated infections, which can be life-threatening. I consider personally, and I know that a lot of colleagues who are in this field, they consider aplastic anemia even more serious condition than a blood cancer, because a blood cancer, at least with chemotherapy, you can get them out in 3 to 4 weeks. But here we don't have really an option because the bone marrow just stopped working. The factory is not working. So he was diagnosed with condition in 2019, and unfortunately he had other complications, and we couldn't really try the medical therapy for them. And he did not have, as I said earlier, he did not have anyone in the family to donate for him. There was no matched family donor who could donate for him. And hence we had to rely on an unrelated donor who could help and donate him. Unfortunately, again in India, we couldn't find anyone who was a full match with Twarit. But fortunately, in the DKMS registry, we did find a fully matched 10x10 match donor. DKMS was very kind to speedify the whole process because the process of a transplant does have few steps. We need to make sure that the donor is well, donor is also not harmed in the process, and they are not going to transfer anything to the patient which can be harmful. So we make sure all of that. So the donor has to go a lot of battery of investigations and tests and everything else to make sure that it's safe for them, it's safe for the patient. And that was kindly done by DKMS pretty fast. And then eventually, Twarit had an unrelated bone marrow transplantation on 16th of May 2019. And now he is almost 2.5 years out of transplant and is done remarkably well. You know, his bone marrow is all functional. He is all, pumping good amount of blood, I would say. And he's now like any other kid, unfortunately you have to wait for a couple of years before you can meet the donor, and here we are. And that's in brief about Twarit. A very quiet, very patient boy. He has been really cooperative. There are times where you're very unwell, very uncertain what's going to be the outcome of this huge complex treatment, but he has been very, very patient. And of course his family has been a great support to Twarit, as well as of course to me. We have gone through the journey together, and here he is now in front of you, and he's all well and all cured of his disease. Thank you.
He seems extremely talkative. I don't know what you're saying when you say he seemed shy, because this boy is so very expressive, articulate, and more than anything has so much of personality to him. You'll know when I bring him on. Dr. Sunil Bhatt.
Well, I don't know whether he has had a personality transplant as well. We may have to see the donor first. If the donor is talkative, and I think Twarit may have taken some, traits from the donor through the blood he got. So I'm really keen to see the donor, because he wasn't very talkative when I met him first. He's very, himself, an introvert, and he speaks very low voice. Of course, he has changed post-transplant, and I think we'll have to see how the donor is.
Such a beautiful connection that happens through this entire process. Doctor, for a country like India, how exactly can we go about reducing the burden of aplastic anemia or blood cancer in general? Because we still have a long way to go.
I don't think I have an answer to that question, because how to reduce the burden is a huge question. And for that, you need to know why this happens, first of all. We still really are not very sure. Majority of the patients who develop either blood cancers or aplastic anemia, there is no, I would say, preventable cause most of the times. But yes, some preventable causes like, smoking and exposure to radiation, exposure to chemotherapies, and some, hazardous chemicals can lead to aplastic anemia, as well as to leukemia. But there are these are small percentage of patients. Most of the cases do not have an identified cause. So I would probably answer differently. I would say that, of course, we may not be able to reduce the burden, but what we can do is that we can intervene early and make a difference. So if we identify them early, we treat them early, and we give them the appropriate treatment which is required early, of course the outcomes can be really different, and it's not and applies both for leukemia as well as aplastic anemia. And this is the example in front of you. Twarit, the parents are very, very keen to get him through the treatment as soon as possible, and if you intervene early, as I said, you can make a difference. So we can cure a lot of these, especially children, because children, the cure rates are pretty high, in the range of 80 to 90%, which is a very high cure rate. So out of every 10 children, you can cure 9 children with these life-threatening illnesses if they're identified early, without complications have set in, and given the appropriate treatment at the centers who can handle these kind of problems.
I think for me and all the friends from the media industry who've joined us here, it's written in bold that more and more people need to register to become blood stem cell donors. That is one short way of giving someone a second chance at life, which is something that we'll get to witness and see today. Organizations like DKMS BMST Foundation India have been working day in and day out to get more and more people registered as part of being a potential blood stem cell donor. But still, there is a long way to go, plenty of ground to cover, but I'm sure we'll get there. We'd like to be as optimistic as possible. The call to action is dkms-bmst.org/register. That's the website. It's dkms-bmst.org/register. Log in there, and the process of becoming a potential blood stem cell donor is fairly simple and easy. By the way, if you have any questions to the doctor, feel free to just put that in our chat window, as I will be opening it up for Q&A as the event proceeds, and I'll tell you when exactly we'll be taking in the questions. But any point of time, feel free to have your questions and concerns put in the chat window. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come over to a very, very special part of this event. I'd like to introduce to you 11-year-old Twarit and his parents. As Dr. Sunil mentioned, Twarit was suffering from aplastic anemia, and at such a young age, he went through a lot till he got a second shot, a second chance at life from a donor who's here from the opposite side of the world. Mr. Atul Srivastava and Twarit's mother, lovely to see you here. Twarit, great to see you here with the cap, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Lovely. Mr.
Thank
Atul,
you, sir.
so nice of you to join in. I believe you're joining us from your workspace at the moment, and the family is here at home, all of you from Bangalore. Of course, you
Yes.
have been in Bangalore for many years now, so Bangalore is home. But let's hear it from you, Mr. Srivastava. How
Yes,
do you
sir.
feel about being part of this event and e-meeting Twarit's angel?
I'm very excited to meet the person who has donated, and he's an angel and waiting for him to see him.
May I ask if you ever thought that a day would come when Twarit can lead a normal life? As a parent, I can understand the kind of emotions that you would have gone through 2 years ago. But what was it like to go through this entire blood stem cell donation, and how the entire process happened?
As Dr. Sunil Bhatt has already explained, just want to submit some point that initially we were very nervous, and hope was very less, as Dr. Sir has already told that a few of his colleagues has treated Twarit at that time. But after reaching Dr. Sunil Bhatt, our hope has started, and we had one hope, and he has helped me in each and every steps. So always we had hope whenever we were meeting Dr. Sunil Bhatt.
And what was it like when you came to know that there is a HLA typing match and there is hope, and that moment when you realize that yes, another part of the world there is a match for Twarit?
It was really a excited moment. We were surprised that we had got a Twarit's another brother outside other side of the world, and it was the amazing time we can't express with the words.
Lovely. I mean, what are the odds? And here you have it, a magical moment that we are all about to witness in just a few. Twarit's mother has joined us as well. Thank you so very much for joining us. What would you like to share, ma'am? How are you feeling being part of this event?
Yeah, as a mother, for me it was very difficult actually. Ki my child is like that. Oh, he is not like another child. But after I met so many doctors, even I went CMC Vellore also, but I didn't like anything. I was searching good doctor actually for Twarit. So some neighbor told me Dr. Sunil Bhatt in Narayana. So I decided, okay, I will go to meet and him. But I didn't went. Atul went, and one of my friend Pushkar Srivastava, he went. They both went, and they discussed with the doctor. After that, they told me. Then I decided, because all things were dependent on me. Ki what you will decide, then we will go. But after that, we went Narayana. I like Sunil Bhatt. Sunil Bhatt explained me everything. After that, he started treatment. But it was very tough. But after meeting Sunil Bhatt, I was feeling comfortable. Oh no, it's possible actually. Hope was there. Ki, okay.
As parents, how exactly did you deal with the entire situation, you and Mr. Srivastava? I'm sure plenty of emotions were running extremely high at that point of time.
Yeah, he needed extra care actually in his everyday routine actually. He was not able to play, not like his age boy. But okay, he was challenged due to his condition. But everything was okay.
Wow, it's fantastic, and here he is, just as normal as any other kid. Twarit, how are you? You truly are a champ, a true fighter, someone who has been through a whole lot, and here you are. How are you feeling, beta?
Um, I'm fine. I'm quite excited to meet my donor, my angel.
Lovely. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Which
Um,
standard are you studying in? Which school do you go to?
I'm in seventh standard and I go to Silicon City Academy of Secondary Education.
Lovely. And do you like going to school through a laptop? Do you like online education?
I miss offline schooling.
Don't we all? So, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing apart from all the studies?
I like developing Android and Windows-based games.
Wow. Okay, you are definitely way smarter than I am, and plenty of people in this room. So, what was that again? You like making apps on Android, is it?
Games on Windows and Android.
Jeez, I only knew the gaming part of it. I didn't know that somebody had to develop it, and here you are. That's amazing. So, what are some of the things that you worked on already?
I made a horror game.
You made a horror game, is it? Wow. My goodness, that's truly intriguing and so very smart on your part as well. Twarit, do you have any message for your lifesaver who is eagerly waiting to meet you as well? What would you like to say?
Twarit, you read your greeting card.
Yes. Sure. So कैमरे के सामने.
I wrote this first.
Oh, you've prepared something. You've prepared something for your angel.
See if you and
I will actually let you read it out. I will actually let you read it out to him.
yes,
It's
please.
great
My
that
appreciation for your sincere donation goes beyond words can't describe. Thank you. I feel humbled by your altruism and your generosity.
that is so beautiful. Okay, you know what? I can't take this anymore. We are here to witness the magical moment, a moment where a 11-year-old aplastic anemia survivor will see his lifesaver for the very first time. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome a true hero joining us from Germany. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Duke Famnock. Duke, welcome. A huge round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen, as he switches on his camera and joins us. Hi, Duke.
Hi.
He is Twarit.
I'm just going to give it a moment just so
Where is he?
everyone soaks in this moment. And of course, everyone goes through the emotions as well. This is truly amazing. You guys can wave at each other, and now we know who's who. We have brave people joining us as part of this event. This is truly beautiful. And how amazing is it that from another part of the world, we are able to make this connection happen. And this is the first time you guys are meeting each other on a virtual platform like this. So, Mr. Duke, can you describe your feeling today on seeing Twarit, the little boy whose life you've saved?
Yes, of course. I'm so happy to meet the boy. It's so awesome. It's make me speechless, and thank you for the beautiful cards.
You know, it's amazing that we get to be part of an event like this where we are able to make this meet happen. And this is what DKMS BMSC Foundation India is all about. Apart from striving so many people to register themselves as a blood stem cell donor. So, Duke, what motivated you to sign up for this noble cause? How did you go about it? How did you first get to know about DKMS BMSC Foundation India?
Yeah, I become a lifesaver with a little donation. So for the person to become a second life, a second chance of life.
Right, right. And can you share about your donation journey from the registration till the donation as such?
Yeah, I registered with DKMS in 2013 at the age of 18, doing a donation drive at former school. A teacher who had previously suffered from blood cancer and had received a successful transplant informed the pupils about DKMS and the possibility to become a stem cell donor. Yeah. In 2019, I was 24. I received an email with information that I might become a actual lifesaver. At first, I went to a hospital to Dresden for a healthy check, so everything was fine. A few weeks later, my stem cells were collected via bone marrow donation. It was carried out under general anesthetic. I never hesitated or pursued with the bone marrow donation. Of course, I was going to do that. Yeah, everybody at DKMS and the hospital was very nice to me and explained the accurate process to me. So it was not a big deal at all. Yeah. I think 6 months later, I was very happy to hear that recipient who has the whole life ahead. My little donation with only cost me a few hours of my lifetime and made such a big impact on his. So the boy become a second chance of life.
Lovely. And of course, no side effects whatsoever, and you didn't have to go through absolutely any ordeal becoming a donor, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, Duke, what would you like to share with people who have joined us here today? What would you like a message to resonate per se?
Thank you for the magical moment in the organization.
Lovely, lovely. I see you're a man who likes to keep it short. Of course, Twarit looks like he's picked up all your speaking and he's gone on to become such a talkative person. It's beautiful. Say, Twarit has prepared a little card for you. Twarit and Twarit's mom, if you'd like to show that to us on the screen. They've prepared a little personalized greeting card just for you. It says, "Thank you very much." And that apart, Twarit, would you like to read out what you have written there for Duke? We're not able to hear you. That's because you're on mute. You can unmute yourself. And yes.
My appreciation for your sincere donation goes beyond words can't describe. Thank you. I feel humbled by your altruism and your generosity. Once again, thank you.
Don't you think, Sriram, that they resemble each other, don't they? I think Twarit and Duke look similar.
This is incredible. This is such a bade bhaiya moment, right? You have a brother now in another part of the world, and it's such an incredible connection. Mr. Atul, is there anything that you'd like to add in and say?
Sir, only thing, we don't have any word to say more than anything is thanks. Is a very small word, but word for him.
Hang on, I'm not able to see you. If you can just turn on your camera as well, that'll be great. We can hear you fine.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Yes, Duke is here, you're here, and this is a reunion that we've been waiting for. Please, Atul sir, what would you like to say to
Yes.
Duke?
Yeah, we don't have any word to say such a great thing he has given to my child, and my child has got the one life after we had lost hope, and now he is with us, and we can say only thank you, which is very small word for him. We can say thank you.
Twarit's mother as well, if there is anything that you may want to add in, please.
So Azul said ki thank you is very small word. Yeah, really is very true actually. Thank you is very small word actually. I can't explain actually. I don't have words also for Angel. For a big brother now. Thank you so much. That's just thank you so much. A lot of thank you.
Duke, you have to visit India now. You got
Yes.
family here.
Yes. Now, yeah.
Maybe in 1 year or 2 years.
Oh, whenever you are coming, please meet with us. And stay with us. This is your home only. And Twarit is your small brother.
I mean, this entire meet and greet is happening on the virtual front, but on the physical end, it would be fantastic if you guys get to meet each other. Are there any plans, Mr. Atul?
Not right now, but some other time, if time allows, we will meet him. We thought
You
that
don't mind traveling to Germany and meeting Duke. And Duke, what are your plans of visiting India? I'm sure that's on your list.
Yeah, but I don't know when is it. So I planned it halt when I have time and the job is halt. I have holidays halt.
During the holidays. I'm sure
Yeah.
that works even with Twarit. And for now, I'm guessing all the video calls and the messages will work. And very soon, it will be fantastic if this magical moment is turned to a physical meet and greet as well. What an incredible moment this is. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us and witnessing this magical moment. Of course, any questions that you have, feel free to log that in our chat window, as we will be opening up for Q&A in just a few moments. Organizations like DKMS, BMST Foundation, India are the ones that make moments like this happen. Of course, they are the biggest registry, and we still have a long way to go in terms of number of people who can become potential blood stem cell donors. A situation where a patient meets their donor couldn't have been more sincere, more authentic, more inspiring and touching. We are here to witness this magical moment. Of course, these are the real life moments to cherish, and aren't we all grateful that we get to be part of an event like this during the day? On that note, I'd now like to request Mr. Patrick Paul, CEO of DKMS BMST Foundation India, to join us. Patrick, thank you so very much for your time.
Yeah, hello Shreyam, hello Duke, hello Twarit, Atul. Great to meet you, and it's not my first patient donor meet, but I'm still it's such kind. I got always such kind of feeling. Though I don't know why I'm always after this emotional high that you're coming to me now. It's very difficult to speak, and especially in this current situation, countries closing borders, COVID-19 situation. Now we have here such kind of international story. It's almost crazy, let's say, when we see in the newspapers every day, and then we can share here such kind of a beautiful, happy event and feelings in the end.
Yeah, just the kind of pick me up and a dose of motivation, and how there is so much of respite in humanity overall with what has been happening, with the kind of work that's been happening with DKMS BMST Foundation India as well. Talk to us about the journey of DKMS BMST Foundation India over the last 2 years, Patrick.
Yeah, so we started in India in May 2019, and our goal is to increase the potential blood stem cell donors among from all ethnicities in India. So to the global database, and so that patients, especially from India or with Indian background, have a chance to finding a match and probably gain a second chance at life. And so far in India, we have registered 50,000 potential donors and helped already 49 patients to find a match. And this includes blood cancer, but as well as other blood disorders such as aplastic anemia.
Lovely. Talk to me about India's role, because India actually plays a very crucial role in bringing out more and more blood stem cell donors. Talk to us about the importance of India's representation.
Yeah, so Dr. Sunil, he already mentioned that how important is the ethnicity, right, to finding a match. And for countries like India, it's very important to have a large number of people from different ethnicities in the global donor pool, right? Here in this case, we have a donor from Germany who donates to Indian patients. And but unfortunately, only 0.04% of Indians are registered as a potential blood stem cell donor till now. And so it's important to address this gap and improve the chances for Indian patients to finding a donor by registration.
Lovely. I believe there are plenty of plans in the pipeline for India, and how you're planning on supporting more Indian patients in the coming future.
Yeah, one part is that we realized very early in India that the decision of signing up as a donor is not only depending on the donor alone, but also it involves the family. And so we explain the entire process. We create awareness to break the myths and updating the people about blood stem cell donation, about the entire process. And in addition, DKMS globally believes that it is very crucial to remove social and economic and let's call it infrastructural barriers, so that more and more patients have access to potential life-saving therapy here also in India. And so consequently, we are always striving to find new ways to facilitate this. So to save as many lives as possible.
Patrick, since you spoke about infrastructure, what's been the support from the government here in India, and how has the government responded to the initiative?
Yeah, of course, we have Indian government, and so the Indian government as such also offers several supports to patients. So we have the Prime Minister National Relief Fund, and we have the Chief Minister Relief Funds for cancer patients. In addition, we have a Coal Indian CSR Fund, which is exclusively for thalassemia patients. And recently, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare published a policy to rare diseases, which includes a similar financial support for rare diseases treatable by stem cell transplant. So this is pretty new. But so obviously, we appreciate the government activities. And so what we do is we are focusing on our strengths. And so DKMS has a 30 years history. And so our responsibility here in India, my responsibility, my colleagues' responsibility is to increase the Indian donor database and to create awareness about blood stem cell donation. Yeah? And in addition, I would say we have several programs to fill this gap in between these government initiatives.
That's fantastic, and it's very encouraging to hear. And of course, plenty of ground to cover. The statistics somehow don't add up, because for a country as large as us, as India, the number of blood stem cell donors can definitely be a lot more, plenty more to be desired, to be honest. So hopefully we'll cover that ground. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to open it up for question and answers. In case you wish to ask your question, feel free to just type that out in the chat window. In case your question is for any of the specific participants, we have Sakshi, that's Twarit's mom, Atul, Mr. Atul Srivastava, Twarit's dad, Twarit himself. We have Dr. Sunil Bhatt. We have Patrick Paul, and of course, our knight in shining armor, our hero, joining us all the way from Germany. We have Duke as well, who is here. Feel free to direct your questions at any of these. We do have a question that's come in, and this is for Dr. Sunil Bhatt. Doctor, how safe is it for the donors to donate their blood stem cells? That's one of the questions that's come in. I'm sure Duke can resonate as well, but please, Doctor.
So it's a good question, and it's a good question to be answered on this platform, which is also, of course, making Twarit to meet his donor, but also at the same time, have education component attached to it, and that is one of the I would say the biggest hurdles of people not registering or not forthcoming for donation is the myth that it's harmful or it is dangerous. For donation is dangerous for you. And I agree, because some of it comes from the analogies you derive from solid organ donations like kidney, liver, and others, which are of course significant procedures for the donors to have. But fortunately, for a bone marrow or a stem cell donation process, we are really not giving anything from our body. We are just giving some extra stem cells, which are going to be replenished by the body in the next few days, or sometimes even hours. Your body stem cells will be back to normal. So it's an extremely safe process. You're not losing anything from your body permanently. There is no long-term and short-term complication associated with the procedure. There are thousands of unrelated donor and even related donor transfers which have happened all over the world, and it has been shown for the last almost 60-70 years as transplants have been going on that these are extremely safe. So donor does not really lose anything. It's just a day of work probably, because you have to come and donate on a particular day. And I feel that losing a day of work or a day at college is probably worth the service you are doing in saving somebody's life. So yes, there will be some mild discomfort. You have to go to the hospital a couple of times, get yourself checked. You're fine. You're safe to donate. It's safe for you to donate. You may have sometimes to get something called as growth factors onto your arm, which is like insulin you get for a few days with a little mild discomfort. But that's really nothing beyond that. So there is the risk to the donors is absolutely negligible. So
Lovely.
hence I think we should educate the masses about this process, and that it is safe, and the need is there for someone who would not have any other chance to his life. And and as you said, we need plenty of donors in our country on our registry. We are 400,000 to 500,000 donors, but we need at least 10 to 15 million donors at least to have an impact.
Right, Doctor. Plenty of medical questions that are actually coming in. I'm going to direct this one to Patrick, actually. Patrick, why is your organization, DKMS BMSC Foundation India, keen for people from different parts of the world to sign up?
Well, we here at DKMS BMSC Foundation India, we came to India because of the reasons Dr. Sunil Bhatt and I explained. The Indians or people with this ethnicity are underrepresented in the global database. There's a medical phrase, so Caucasians, so from Western countries, they are over-represented, let's say, in this way. And DKMS globally is represented, so it's a German organization, and we are currently in Germany, UK, US, Poland, Chile, South Africa, and India. And this is necessary, required, needed to represent more ethnicities. And DKMS is 30 years old, but nevertheless this journey just started, let's say. So we're not finished. And obviously you have to go to all these countries where donors are required to cover patients who are suffering on leukemia and need or other blood disorders, and who are in need of a stem cell donation.
Lovely. We have another question that's come in. starts off by saying so nice to follow the event, and much respect to each and every one of you who are here, especially to Duke. The question is a medical one, and I think Dr. Sunil Bhatt can take this. How did the bone marrow come to India, and how many times did you have for the process from taking it from the donor to giving it to the boy? I think it's quite a technical question.
Okay, so fortunately in these unrelated donor donations for stem cells, the donors don't have to travel down. They don't have to come down, right? So the donation happens at their own respective places. So Duke is from Germany. The collection happened in Germany, but then the cells come via human courier. So someone brings the cells along, right? And the cells, once they're collected, they are viable, they are living for the next 70 to 96 hours. So they can be safely transported, and a human courier gets them in a plane, and these are delivered to the transplant center. So what happens parallelly is that we keep the patient ready. So for example, there's a donation which has been set out for XYZ day, and we work backwards from that day and start preparation to the patient 7 to 10 days before that. And on the day of the collection, when the cells arrive here at the transplant center, that would be the day of transplant. So as soon as the cells come, we do we give those to the patient, and that's what the transplant would be. And then it takes around a couple of weeks for these new cells to start growing in the patient's body, and hence the patient is admitted to the hospital for almost a month. So 1 week before transplant, then a couple of weeks it takes for the new cells to grow. Another week it takes for them to come to normal levels, and that's the time that we discharge the patient from the hospital. It's almost a 1 month process, basically.
Okay. We do have a question for Duke as well that's come in, and it says, did you have any health issues after donating? Were you sick, Duke? Hang on, are you on mute? Yeah, looks like you're on mute.
I'm so sorry.
It's the usual virtual event. So this is, I think this is now normal. So yes, please. What was your condition like following the donation? And at any point of time, were you unwell?
Yes, I was well, but I have, after donation, have 2 days or 3 days I hurt. So I can't sitting. It was on the back in his chair, I can't sitting so. Yeah, and then so a week later I can't do anything. I can't play football, meet my friends, so everything was well.
So absolutely everything A-okay. You just had to rest it out for a few days.
Yes.
That's basically it. Say, Duke, what do you do for a living? Are you involved with the tech world in any way?
What do you mean?
I mean, what do you do for a living?
Yeah. So last month I finished my study.
Mm-hmm.
So I have become a Bachelor of Ecommerce. Then I'm looking for a job, and last week I have a job interview. So I have a little job in the sports shop.
Wow, that's amazing. Definitely you and Twarit can probably collaborate. He's into making apps on phones, just to let you know.
Yeah.
All right,
Awesome.
We have another question that's come in. Dr. Sunil Bhatt can probably take this one. What if the blood group of both patient and donor is different?
Yeah, so blood group really doesn't matter in bone marrow
does not
transplants.
matter.
You can put anybody's blood group into anyone. What matters is actually typing. What matters is actually match, and hence we need someone who's perfectly actually matched with the patient. It could be, and irrespective of the blood group. So blood group really doesn't matter at all. It does matter, in small way, but for the purpose of today's discussion, it's a very small thing which we have to make some adjustments when we transplant. But otherwise, it doesn't have any impact at all. X-ray typing has to match. Blood group really doesn't need to match. But patient will change the blood group of the donor. So after 3 to 4 months, usually the blood group of the patient gets changed to to the donor blood group.
That's incredible and so very fascinating overall. Doctor, how many times can one donate in a lifetime?
Okay, so it's a very tricky question. Every registry has got its own norms. See, end of the day, it's like blood donation. So as we donate blood every 3 months, we can donate practically stem cells out every 3 months, but that is not allowed by the registries because donors' safety is important. And if I'm not mistaken, the DKMS registry, a donor can donate twice in his lifetime, right? So if they are matching someone else also, they can donate twice in the lifetime, or sometimes for the same patient also, you may have to donate twice. But that's, and every registry, as I said, has got their own norms. And it's usually a couple of times in the lifetime you can donate stem cells. I just want to make a point here because Duke mentioned that he was, a little uncomfortable a couple of days and he was not able to move much. He was, kind of homebound for a couple of months. I just want to acknowledge Duke's, incredible effort in donating bone marrow instead of the stem cells which are collected from the blood. Okay, so the stem cells which are used for transplant can be collected from bone marrow, which is from the iliac crest, from the backbone, what we call in layman language, and also can be collected from the blood from the veins. The collection from the veins, which is from the blood, is simpler. It is an outpatient procedure, no anesthesia is required, and it's very, very simple and safe. Bone marrow is also very safe, but of course it is to be done at an operation theater and it's a little bit uncomfortable a couple of days post-procedure. Now, I don't want to get the details of why you want to do either, but just in simple language, bone marrow is usually a little better source of stem cells, especially for non-cancerous conditions. So wherever we can, and when the donors are gracious enough like Duke, even to go under anesthesia and donate their stem cells, we do sometimes prefer those. But in India, we still are doing the blood stem cell collection from the blood only. We are not yet doing collections from the bone marrow from unrelated donors. So I think that's something, again, we in India need to work on. We need donors like Duke in India who can donate from their bone marrow and not only from the blood.
That is amazing. We do have a question for Twarit's father, Mr. Atul. Is Twarit totally fine now? Can he do outdoor activities? Twarit, you can answer this one as well.
Yes, I can do outdoor activities, but due to this pandemic, I'm not able to.
Yeah, don't we all? Yeah, the playgrounds are definitely empty and we are all trying to be as safe as possible. Yes, Mr. Atul, anything that you'd want to add in?
I want to say same thing what Twarit told. He is able to play everything, he is fit to play, but due to the pandemic, he is not going out. He is following all the protocols, staying home from the last 2.5 years. It's painful for us also, just like an energetic baby, and other kids are at least they are going out for not for play, but at least for the outing. But due to the safety of Twarit, and Twarit is following us, so we are not sending him.
Right.
It's really painful for us.
Yeah, taking care of all the necessary precautions. But that apart, Twarit is doing fantastic and he can run around and play just like any other kid. That's beautiful. And Twarit, what do you like playing in general? What's your favorite sport?
It's not in common, but I usually play cricket.
You love playing cricket, is it? You're wearing that Captain America cap and you look like you're about to go out opening batting and smash it out of the park. Duke, what about you? What are your favorite hobbies?
Yeah, so in my free time I play often football, basketball, and I go with friends climbing.
So there you go. Plenty of things to be done in the future when you guys meet face to face. We have few more questions that have come in. We'll take the last set of few questions. This question is for Dr. Sunil. Can you tell us how long does one have to wait for a match? I think Patrick can also join in for this, but first, Dr. Sunil.
Well, see I think I'll take this question in two parts. One is that if you find a donor, how much time it will probably take you to see. Searching for a donor doesn't take too long. I just need the HLA typing of the patient, and I'll flick it to DKMS, Patrick's team. Then one day they will tell me who is a donor match for the particular patient. So the searching is not very difficult. If they have someone in the database, they'll be in 24 hours telling me that there's XYZ Duke is matching Twarit. I come to know in 24 hours, right? So then the process of working the donor takes, the donor has to go for some blood tests and some checkups and all that, and then a stem cell collection happens. So from finding a donor who's matched with a particular patient and then doing a stem cell collection may sometimes take 3 to 4 weeks, because that's the time it takes for the test and everything to come back and then the donation to happen. Now, if someone doesn't find a match, we have searched for a donor and there's no match in the donor registries, how long you need to wait? The wait can be indefinite. It can be years. It can be the full lifetime. Because as I said, the chances of finding a donor can be as low as 1 in a million. So it depends on at what point of time in these registries someone comes up and finds a donor, who finds a match for this particular patient. But fortunately, we have the system now, with DKMS is one of the pioneers in the system, that if a match pops out for some particular patient, for example, I have searched for a patient today, there's no match. After 6 months, there's someone else who has been recruited now, and they come a match to my patient. They will alert us that, okay, now someone has come up who is a match with your patient, and are still ready to go for the transplant. So that does happen, but the wait can be indefinite. And I got lots and lots and lots of families who have been waiting for a match forever. I have got people waiting for years together. Unfortunately, sometimes when we lose the patients before they find someone who would be able to match them and will be able to donate for them.
So it truly is a beautiful miracle. It is a magical moment for the match to even happen, and for them to meet face to face is just taking it to the next level, and just such a fantastic, beautiful moment that is being created here. Patrick, if you'd want to add in about how people may have to wait sometime, but then again, if you could also shed some light on the ground reality of things, how many registered donors at this moment of time?
Sriram, may I interrupt, please? Patrick, I'm sorry. I have to go. We have a little bit of a medical need here. I have to leave. So I just want to acknowledge, from bottom of my heart, that this, as Patrick said, we do this very often, but every time it's so emotional and gives you goosebumps. So I really look forward to these events, because that is, at the end of the day, what you work for, and these are the moments which you live for. So I really thank Duke for what he has done, and also sparing his time today to talk to us and to meet his blood brother now, who is going to be meeting them physically soon, probably, Twarit. And also Twarit's family. It's going to be a very emotional moment for them, a life-changing event which has happened a couple of years ago. And to meet the life savior now after 2 years is really, really very emotional and life-changing, I would say. So great, and thank you for the opportunity of having me. And I really I'm thankful to God that He gave the opportunity to meet Twarit's family and change his and their life forever. Thank you very much for having me, and please carry on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil Bhatt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you again for your services as well. Just coming back to just a few more moments of our magical moment event. Patrick, yes.
Yeah, to answer your question, when you visit our social media channels, you can see patient requests who are looking for a donor, who haven't found a match yet, and we are looking for donors. For example, one patient is Kriti, who is looking for a match since several months now, and we are trying our best to help her, and every registration here counts.
Absolutely. And what about just the ground reality as to how many people have registered in India and the scope for it?
Like Sunil, so at DKMS BMST we have 50,000 registrations till now, since within the last 2 years. Overall in India you have 4 to 5 lakhs, so 400,000 to 500,000 per castration in total. And like Dr. Sunilbhat mentioned, you need 15 to 20 million.
Wow. A lot of ground to cover, but I am sure we are going to achieve it. And the fantastic work that DKMS BMST Foundation India is doing, just keep up the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, all it takes is 5 minutes of your time, but you can give a lifetime to someone by simply registering to become a potential blood stem cell donor. You can do that by logging on to dkms-bmst.org/register. It's dkms-bmst.org/register. Log in, register. Your 5 minutes can give someone a second chance at life, just like the way Duke went ahead and gifted a second shot at life to none other than Twarit. And isn't it amazing that we are able to make this connection happen? Plenty of registrations to go, so make sure you spread the word. Today, as part of the magical moment, we were also educated. We became that much more knowledgeable about how the procedure is safe. Blood stem cell donation can actually give someone another shot at life, and how we see a young boy doing so very well post the procedure. So make sure you spread the word, spread the right word, and get more and more people to register themselves to become a blood stem cell donation and a donor in general. We see how the transplantation also has a good success rate. So overall, I think all your questions have been answered. The folks at DKMS BMST Foundation India are always here to clear any air in case you have any doubts. Thank you once again for being part of the magical moment, taking time out of your busy schedules and joining us. To each and every one of us who is here as part of this virtual event, I thank you. And on behalf of DKMS BMST Foundation India, I thank you all. Do spread the word. Duke, Twarit, I'll let you guys have a moment or two. Thank you once again. We conclude this event right here. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Until next time.